Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Palak. I'm the founder of MediStudyGo, and I love to invite you here to have this discussion with Dr. Aishwarya, who's also one of my best friends from college. I have seen her entire journey, and this is going to be a very personal discussion where we take you through all her strategies, how she studied, what were her real challenges, how did she overcome them, and then finally how she got this beautiful rank, which I think you're still proud of. So, if you guys have any questions, we'll keep it open. We'll keep it an open discussion. But the entire point of having this session is to share the real story. So, um, I'll give a little background about Dr. Aishwarya. She's been always a distinction kid all through college. So she'd always work hard while she was in college. But obviously, NEET is a very different ball game, something that we are not aware of while we are in internship. And she navigated it herself, which is why she's the best person to guide anybody going through the same phase. So thank you so much for joining. And I hope you guys enjoy this session with her. Okay, so I'm just going to directly shoot questions, and I hope that you honestly answer these questions so that nobody is in the dark.
Yeah, I will try my best.
So I'll start with college days and how you were as a student. So I know how you were as a student, but like if you have to tell, you know, how your internship went, what were you doing in your internship, and um, what made you decide that you should take a drop year to prepare for NEET?
Okay, before internship, during the final year, third year, and everything, uh, we used to like give a lot of importance to books, right? We used to actually study for the exams and everything. So I feel knowingly or unknowingly, the amount we used to spend for preparing for those exams really helped during NEET. Like during that time, we didn't realize how much of effort we were taking. It felt like, we are taking it easy. We are not doing a lot of work. But then it did really help all those books. So those books actually helped me during the preparation also. Other than that, during internship, I had decided that I'll take a chill year. I'll take a break. I will just, practice on whatever clinical aspects during the internship, seeing patients and everything. So I didn't do much of preparation during my internship. I did by pulse. I started studying, I think, from oral path, but I just did like 3, 4 pages, and then I was like, I'll do it in the drop year. So that's how my internship was quite chill. I didn't really study. I mean, I don't know if that's good advice. It's always good to start early. If you're already studying during internship, then it's well and good. But even then, during the drop year, I think you can still catch up for the exam.
Great. Yeah.
And I think during internship, you were doing a lot of videos, right? Like YouTube videos. So during that time, we used to still study. So I think we were
Yes.
still in touch with the subjects. We were not very far from it every now and then. So I think it went well.
Yeah. Um, so I just briefly remember that, you had actually touched Pulse just 10 or 15 days ago, just before NEET. That was the first time she was giving NEET. And, actually, when you're in internship year, there's a lot of distraction because you just get your first stipend, you've just got your final year, you've just done your final year, you've just completed like 8 subjects. And then you want that 1 year to just, slow down. So do you think that actually helped you when you were giving that drop year? Like
Yeah,
you were giving your
definitely.
all.
Because during the internship, my only excuse for not studying was I'll study, I'll catch up in that 1 year. So, like, if I didn't do it, there would be guilt. But guilt was not the main reason. Like, I had made up my mind, like, I'm going to give it all. I'm not going to have any distraction for this 1 year other than preparing. So, I think taking your time, taking my time helped for me. And it was like during the internship, I had told myself, if I'm studying now, I would probably be able to give 2 or 3 hours in the evening, which might not be enough for the preparation, right? So I was like, rather than spending that 2, 3 hours in studying, which would probably not give me the best rank, I felt like I'll do that in the drop year.
In the drop year. Got it. And what were the resources that you used during that year in internship? And then were they the same resources you used in your drop year?
During internship, yeah, I just had Pulse. But in
Okay.
the drop year, I did take a coaching class. I joined series. So I had additional resources. I had class notes and certain app questions and everything, and many other apps that I used.
Okay, what were all the apps that you used?
So obviously, one was BDS Next, the CDs app. Other than
CDs
that,
app.
I also tried Pulp MDS,
Okay.
Pulp app with that purple icon.
Um,
Then there is Meritus MDS Prep app. So these were the two additional apps that I used to use. And
okay.
three BDS Next.
Um, so you used to use Pulp for solving questions, Meritos for the daily tests, but and CDs for the lectures.
No, CDs for the lectures and also for the daily tests. You know, those
Okay.
when I'm bored of using the same app, I go to Pulp and Meritus for additional app. And Meritus also had a very good Instagram page where they used to
Hmm.
put a lot of MCQ questions, like how
Hmm.
you are putting questions right now. So they have been doing it for a long time. So
Hmm.
I think
So you could just
that also
scroll
used it.
through it and get a lot of questions. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice. Okay. So just like if you could walk us through what your day looked like during your drop year.
During my drop year, so initially from I think I started studying in the mid of April. In the beginning, I used to study 6 to 7 hours per day. It started
Okay.
from 6 hours per day. Then slowly, it obviously has to progress till almost 12, 13 hours towards the end. So in the beginning, it was just following the class, like series class. I was in the offline class, right? So we used to just study. If he's going to teach oral paths today, then the next day we used to, go through the class notes and then do pulse. So it was like that till like the first 2, 3 months, it was just following the class. But then later I had to make my own schedule.
Hmm.
So it was like morning format, then the day is divided into three halves. The first half will be for, fresh subject where you need a lot of brain. Then in the afternoon, a lighter subject. Then in the evening for solving questions. This was after 2, 3 months. In the beginning, you just, you need to get the proper direction. You need to get the start. You can't just open Pulse and start. So class notes, classes were helpful in the beginning.
Got it. And when did you start? So I was this the same timeline? Like right now we're in May. Usually people's internships have started in like March, April.
Yeah.
So is this a good time to start preparation and take 2, 3 months to
Yeah.
groove in?
Yeah, you still have 9 months left, assuming, let's say your exam is on March, you have 9 months left. So if you plan accordingly, like, not micro planning, but you should have a bigger plan. Divide the months, not divide the day right now, divide the months, then accordingly you can finish up. If you're very, dedicated towards it, you can actually finish it in a very good level.
Got it. And if you were to go back, like say for example, a lot of students here are people who are doing it with their internship. If anybody is doing it with their internship, please like raise your hand or say yes in the chat box. That would help us. That would help me put up questions related to internship also. So how should they plan their schedule, especially if they have to go for an internship between 9 to 5? And like, what are the tips you could give now that you've been through the journey?
So 9 to 5 is their internship. So obviously after coming, you would I assume you would want to relax for like half an hour or something.
Okay.
Then you try to at least give 4 hours. From the beginning, you try to give minimum 3, 4 hours. So let's hold like if you start studying from 6 in the evening, you can study till 10:30, 11 max. Most of us are awake till 11, 12 anyway. So you would get solid 4 hours in the night. And in the morning, if you are able to wake up at 5 or something and work before the college starts, you will get like good 2 to 3 hours. So
Hmm.
when you do it that way, you get already you have 7 hours in hand, right? And
Hmm.
even during the internship, during college time, when you don't, like I have seen my friends studying, when you don't have patience, when the patient flow is less, or in postings that you don't have to do a lot of work, though that time also you can use for just solving questions. And if you're attending a class, then you attend the class, solve the question subsequently, and you keep that Saturday evenings and Sundays for revising the entire week, whatever you have studied, you have to revise it on the Sunday. So you would, there'll be a quick revision. You won't really forget everything as soon as you study. So that's how I think if
Oh,
you're able to give 6 hours a day, even with the college, then it's good with revisions on Sunday.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And say, for example, you are just starting out or you've just done one or two subjects. I think everybody will be at that point right now. So, what are the subjects you should start with? Like strategically, like how would you place your subjects over these 12 months?
So,
Not even
okay, I'll
12
give
months,
like a
actually.
generalized division of the months. Now you have 9 months, right? So hold the last 2 months separately. The last 2 months is for quick two revisions along with question papers. That is the last 2 months. Now you have 7 months in hand. You divide it into 4 and 3. In the first 4 months, you do your first reading, which has to be thorough. You collect all the information that you can. You keep it in one place because that you shouldn't refer too many books in the beginning because in the initially, if you gather a lot of information, you don't know how to revise it in the end. So
Correct.
whatever information you have a book, you have, 4 5 books for different subjects, and then you make notes or you make notes directly in Pulse. That's what I used to do in the beginning. I used to collect
Mhm.
information, write it in my synopsis area. So in the revision time, it was easier for me. So in the first 4 months, you do that. You do a proper foundation, you do a proper base. But proper base doesn't mean you sit and study everything. You cannot study 4 years of syllabus in just 4 months. So you plan accordingly. Maybe you can refer to previous year questions in the beginning itself, see where the questions are coming from, and then accordingly you can do your preparation in the first 4 months. Then the next 3 months is for good revision. Whatever studying you have done, you compile all of them together, put it in one place, and you revise it in the next 3 months. Then you have those
Okay.
last 2 months where you quickly revise twice and then also do the papers. And
Okay. Okay.
during this time, it's not just, like in the first 4 months, it's not like you're just studying for the first four. You have to keep on revising. Like, how I said every week Sunday has to be for revision. So
Okay.
you keep on revising so that you don't lose the touch of a particular subject when you move on to another subject.
Got it. Got it. But say, for example, I'm just starting out. Should I start with a heavy subject like pharmac, or should I look at subjects that have high weightage first, or should I look at subjects which have low weightage? How should I go about it? Like, what should be the thought process?
The main thing while starting the preparation is to not have an already set mindset that okay, this subject is important and this is not. In the beginning you just look at it with the same eye view. You start with a subject that you like or you're interested to learn in, because that would give you the kickstart. If you start with a difficult subject, it could be different for different people. Let's say I don't like a particular subject a lot, but if I start with that, it's going to make it very difficult for me. So you start with any
Hmm.
subject that you like and then you go with the flow. Okay, so
Hmm.
after you finish that first set of revision, you see
Mm-hmm.
how you'll have that everyday test series and everything, weekly test series. So you see how the papers are. And according to that, in the second set of 3 months, then you can order the subjects according. I had ordered mine starting from oral path for dental
Okay.
and anact for medicine. Then after oral path came ortho, then came cons endo. So then for medicine it came general surgery, and general medicine is said to have more weightage among the other general subjects. So
Got
you
it.
just start with a similar mindset about every subject,
Okay.
but the
But
time
start
that
with
you
something
spend
you
has to
like.
differ.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah,
like
like
for
don't
big
spend too
subjects.
much time. Correct.
Hmm. For big subjects, you take time. For oral path, it's very big. It's really big. You need to spend a lot of time. So you can take good amount. Like you can take up to 15 to 17 days on that subject and do it nicely. But when you take subjects like DADH, they're very small. So you should make sure that you don't spend more than like 3 4 days on that subject.
Got it.
So
Got it. And like, what do you mean by a lot of time, and what do you mean by less time? Like, a lot of time, does it mean 10 days, 15 days? How do you divide it?
So see again, depends on the subject. OP 15 days is adequate. It's not too
Okay.
much or too less. You have to cover it in 15 days, do it properly. When you take subjects like ortho, it's not too big, right? So you have to be able to finish it in like 5 to 6 days maximum, a week. A week's time is ideal.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend a little more or little less depending on how much you're able to give. And sometimes you would divide the subjects, right? Like in a day, if you're not a person who would sit and finish one subject at a time, you're taking two subjects. Don't take more than two subjects at a time. Okay, so you take ortho and pedo, so you take endo and pedo, for example. When you do that,
Hmm.
you can take like 10 days to finish both the subjects.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. So let's, like, I'm sure you personally had some strong subjects and some weak subjects. So would you sort of pair a strong and a weak subject so that you feel motivated?
That happened towards the end. Initially, when I started, I had started it with one subject at a time. But then
Mm-hmm.
later I realized doing certain subjects together will really help. Like I
Correct.
could give you the subject pair up if you want, and you can note it down if you're listening right now. You
Mm.
pair up DM and cons because both of them have overlapping concepts and it gets easier and it becomes quicker. Then you can pair up endo and pedo because again, overlapping topics, especially related to trauma, avulsion sort of topics. Then there is oral path and radio because in the radio OMR section, the radiographic part, they talk about, the clinical aspects also, which you cover in oral path. So you pair OP and radio. Then perio and micro. When I say perio, the microbiological aspect of perio with microbiology general subject you can pair. Then you can do medicine physio together because, you get that medicine and physiological part and the topics are obviously overlapping. And you can also do, I think, general surgery and oral surgery. There's not a lot of overlapping stuff going on in there, but then you get the flow when you do those topics together.
Got it. If anybody is not noted down, I'm just repeating endo plus cons, OP plus radio.
DM plus cons, endo plus
Sorry,
pedo,
DM, endo plus radio. Sorry. OP plus radio, DM plus prosto.
DM plus conso, cons. DM and
Okay.
cons, endo and
Mm-hmm.
pedo,
Pedo.
oral
Okay.
path and radio.
Then perio and micro, medicine and physio, general surgery and OS. Right?
Oral surgery. And pharmac you have to do every single day in the morning.
Of the entire year.
I did that. I started pharmac with Sparsh Gupta. For the initial reading, Sparsh Gupta is really good. You get like a good clarity if you want to know the concepts, and even the classifications are given there very nicely. Towards the end, you can shift to solving questions from Pulse because solving all the questions from Sparsh would not be possible. You just go
Mm-hmm.
through Sparsh, note down the key concepts like, what all they would ask, contraindications, indications, mainly such questions, right? Indications, contraindications, and where you use it, what is the drug of choice. So those things you note down from Sparsh Gupta. Then towards the end, last 2-3 months, you solve Pulse.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Somebody has asked, should we do only Dental Pulse or Dentist or any other book for MCQs? You recommended Dental Pulse.
I recommend Dental Pulse, but I have heard that Dentist is good for pedo and PhD and even ANAT sometimes. But ANAT, I would say do Chaurasia and Dental Pulse. That would be enough. For pedo, the content given in Dental Pulse is a little less, you could say, not that adequate. So you can refer dentist for pedo, but don't, if you're doing dentist for pedo, don't do pulse. Like, don't do too many things for a particular subject.
Understood. Understood.
Other than that, in the Neeraj Wadhwan, previous year questions are given. There are two books, like one small and one bigger book. Bigger book might be too much for now. You can take the smaller books where they have all the previous year questions, I think 15 papers or something, and each of the questions are very good explanations. So you'll get good conceptual ideas about the questions from previous year.
Got it. I'll just add one more thing for this batch. That was the NEET 2025 batch. We did these revision webinars where we only discussed previous year questions in 3 hours. So if anybody needs a video explanation of all previous year questions in 3 hours, that is available. And you can just revise it. And it's done by like our professors, Dr. Shrikant, who's the HOD, who's amazing. So your oral path and all can be really sorted if you just look at these videos. All right.
I still
Um,
remember the lectures by then. That really helped me during the preparation. Like when you read the questions from Pulse, I could hear our teachers, I could hear Sir speaking in the background.
yeah, Shrikant sir really has a place in our hearts.
Yeah.
So,
And if he has given the lectures, you should really listen to it. It will be very helpful.
yeah, he's discussed all NEET questions, all INI questions also for DADH and OPAT, all questions. Okay, somebody is asking, ma'am, how to study for repeaters? Should we join any class or any other books?
Repeaters, if you have already joined the class and you already have notes, then I would recommend self-study, make your own schedule, don't get lost in, already set schedules by another institute or anything. If you have the material, that is, if you're in the flow and if you have the material, you know how much you have done, you know where you have to focus. So you divide your days accordingly and do it. But if you have not joined a course, but you're repeating, then I would advise join a course, get a start from there, listen to their lectures, see how they take you. And then you can towards the end adjust accordingly.
Huh. Do you, like you mentioned, self-study versus attending a coaching class? Tell us about what you preferred and why it helped.
I preferred self-studying, but I did join a course. And the course, that's what. In the beginning, I just attended a few classes and I picked the subjects where I wanted classes. Like I picked PhD because PhD didn't have a synopsis. So I knew what I wanted. I attended all the PhD classes, made notes, those were helpful. I wanted to attend ANAT lectures. I attended ANAT. But other than that, the other subjects, pedo, ortho, cons, and everything, I mostly did self-study. And even after attending classes, I used to follow my own schedule. Like, just not stick with the class. If there is a class this week, it's not like I would focus only on that. I would be doing another subject, attend the class, and then do that when I have it in my schedule.
That's nice. So, say for example, self-study. I think it's very difficult to keep yourself motivated, especially when you're studying self-study. Do you have any tips for that, so that you can, help anybody prepare themselves better?
It's the most important tip for self-studying is take breaks. Do not force yourself too much. So at least in the beginning, you give one evening off for yourself. Like if you're studying the whole week, you take, a random evening off Friday. It doesn't have to be Sunday. Friday evenings or Thursday evening, you take an off. So you look forward to that off and then you're like, okay, I will study till then because I can chill during that period. Then you remember why you started this and what you want. Like every time I used to feel down, I used to be like, no, I want this government college. I have spent so much on Manipal already. So it was mainly the expense part that kept me motivated. Like, government colleges obviously are cheaper and they're better to learn from. So you just remember where you're going to. So, and when you're feeling like you're not doing enough, just talk to somebody, have some friend that you can discuss stuff with. So then you figure out what you like to do, basically.
Correct. Absolutely. Somebody is also asking, okay, ANAT has a lot of questions. I think this we discussed even in our last webinar. In general anatomy, how much thorax, abdomen, upper limb should we study for MDS?
So I did study thorax and limbs for MDS. I had just seen. So in papers, if you check, there are repeated questions about certain veins and nerves important in the leg region, the ankle region related veins. So those are the only things that I study for other than head and neck. But then the brachiocephalic vein part involving the hands. So it's just you don't go exploring new concepts in thorax and limbs. You hear something you feel familiar. Okay, this topic I've heard before. This is some vein which is very common. This nerve I've heard. Those things you kind of brush upon. And in the beginning, maybe in the first reading, you can give it a read. But I wouldn't say spend so much time on those aspects. Mainly concentrate on head and neck. You shouldn't miss obvious questions from head and neck. Even if you miss one or two from thorax and limbs, you wouldn't feel so bad, right? You would feel like, okay. But head and neck, if you miss, then it's like, you should know.
Then let's discuss about how many questions were there in your paper, like for the NEET exam. How many did you attempt and how many were right and wrong to get a rank like yours?
Yeah, okay. I don't remember the number, but I did make a note of it. Just a second. So there were 240 questions. I had attempted 227 because you can attempt the maximum. Maximum doesn't mean you attempt all the 240 questions. You should leave up to like 9, 10, which I'm not sure. So I attempted 227 questions, out of which 179 were correct, 48 were wrong.
Okay.
And my mark was, I think, 670 out of 960. It was 670. So with that mark, I was able to get 79 last year. But then this year's scorecards are not the same. With the same mark, I think with 670 or something, the ranks are in the range of 200 to 220, I guess. So the competition is definitely more this time, and it might increase the next time. So
Yeah. Agreed. So, I mean, it's like, what is your take on like how many questions you should attempt? You should like, how did you strategize that I should leave this question or I should attempt this question?
So see, each correct answer has 4 marks, and
Okay.
each wrong answer has -1. Right? So you still have gaps. Like don't do a lot of guesswork. If the paper is very difficult, then you have to be careful. But then that time when I was attempting, the paper was very hypothetical. It was all clinical. So there were very good chances of getting it right.
Okay.
And we were always told to attend maximum because
Hmm.
most of them would maximum doesn't mean 250 again. It should be around in the range of 230 to 235, maximum 235 you attempt. And I think that will give you a good edge. Like there are high chances you would get it right after like 1 year of preparation. If you don't take very blind guesses, then it's good. It gives you a good edge.
Got it. Um, so I'll just get back to anatomy. I'll just add one thing there. I just remembered that, say, for example, you're studying head and neck, thorax, abdomen, pelvis. Um, uh, we have mind maps that are centered towards the MBBS NEET exam, in the sense that suppose anybody is concerned about your thorax, abdomen, pelvis, what happens is in medical subjects, right, you will see a trend that whatever questions are asked frequently in the MBBS NEET exam or the MBBS INICT exam is sort of reflected here. So if anybody is struggling for that little part of thorax, abdomen, pelvis, or say for example neuroanatomy, which can just give you like a bomb question, then you can just refer to our mind maps because that covers the MBBS syllabus. We made it for the MBBS people, but you can go through the pins which are available for the topic. So you don't have to spend too much time, but you'll get the neat questions that they have been asked, which may just reflect, by chance in our papers.
Yeah, I remember doing anat neuro part. You had given towards the last 2 months, I guess. I got access for the anat mind maps. And yeah, that was good for quick revision, especially the brain part and this nerves and everything, which you really need to keep looking at again and again.
Yeah, and that I think is well done with videos also in our app. So just like 7 to 10 minutes if you give per topic, right? And that you will be able to really structure. Even Pharmac, for example, like the NEET 2025 batch told us. I think Prajna is here. She's a NEET 2025 aspirant. She mentioned that our Pharmac really helped her during the NEET 2025 exam because Pharmac is huge, but you don't have structure in any book. So that helped. Next question is, um, how did you approach MCQs? Like, did you start approaching MCQs since the beginning, or like, how did you divide your time? Like, I'm going to study this much, I'm going to solve MCQs. How did you divide it?
So, for the MCQs, first comes the lecture. If you're listening to a lecture, listen to the lecture, make notes. Then I read the synopsis part. If the
Mm-hmm.
synopsis was small, I used to finish off the synopsis, then go for MCQs. But if the synopsis is huge, then divide the synopsis. Like, 4 pages of synopsis, solve 3 chapters. It doesn't have to overlap. It can, you can do a different topic from the synopsis and solve different set of questions from the pulse. So I did not just straight up go into solving MCQs. I
Okay.
tried to get a background,
So,
then I went to the MCQ.
okay. Did you go back to your textbooks?
Not for everything. Mostly the explanations given in pulse is enough. That much information is enough. But then for oral path, I did go back to the books, obviously because I remember the classes from before. So for oral path, I did. For oral surgery, I did. Not just books, like, videos, lectures, YouTube videos, notes.
Notes.
Oral
No.
surgery, then for ortho, I did. Certain subjects where you feel like you could, read and then refresh, you go back. Don't spend a lot
God.
of time.
Yeah. There's a book called Dental Triplet. Have you used that?
No, I haven't. I have heard of it, but I have not used it.
Okay. So Sneha, she wouldn't be able to answer anything about the dental triplet, so I'm not asking. Somebody is asking, please tell me about the next exam, ma'am. As in, I didn't get the question. Just make it better, Prem Krish. Vidhi is asking, I am studying with the material MediStudy Go provides. Is that enough, or I should refer to any other book? I'll clarify. Eshu and I come from the same batch. MediStudy Go had just started at that point. Now we have material which is available for NEET and for all the subjects. But yes, she has used our NEET mind maps. That was the first thing that we had launched. She has personally used them, but I don't think she would be the right person to answer if you can use us, because she's not used it. So we don't want to polish things here. But Vidhi, as a founder, I'll answer it and I'll give you honest opinion. This material that we provide is very useful to get you a bird's eye view for the NEET exam, especially because information is scattered. And these days, if you see, the exam is not just previous year questions. You need to know the concept well. You can't just know previous year questions and enter an exam. So it will provide you a bird's eye view. We are adding flashcards which are specific for the NEET exam. So in the next 2-3 months, you'll also be able to unlock flashcards on our app, which will give you exactly what NEET wants. So if I have to say that, is it enough? It is enough, but you need to study everything. That's one essential thing. Can we start preparation from third year? Is it beneficial? Guys, we didn't start in third year, but I think Aishwarya, you can answer.
It is definitely beneficial. I mean, when you do your subjects very well in third year and final year, you would save up a lot of time during your 1 year preparation. Or you don't even have to take the 1 year preparation in that case. You just do third year studies, fourth year subjects, then during the internship you solve pulse, attend classes or whatever, then you're good to go, I guess. So if you're able to start from third year, then it's amazing. You start from third year.
Yeah, but I'll just give you a quick tip on this. Don't focus so much on the NEET exam in third year. Do focus on your university exam, because a subject like oral pathology, if you genuinely do well while you're in that year and you're not distracted by thinking that, oh, I'm already starting to prepare for NEET, and add that extra burden to your life, um, it may just be easier to continue to do that, because consistency is more important than just sitting in third year and doing it, but not being able to do it in final year or not being able to do it in internship. So I feel it's a lot more about consistency than starting early. Like I
And
agree for me.
NEET is an objective exam, right? But your university exams are very conceptual. So by when I say you prepare from third and final year, doesn't mean you already sit and solve in an MCQ view. You do only your concepts. You don't think of NEET. You just think like, okay, I am gaining good knowledge that is going to stay with me at least for the next 5 years, So
Mm-hmm.
when you do it that way, then it's helpful. You don't like think, okay, this is for NEET. Don't do that. Study for your university exam. Do from good recommended books. Then you just use that knowledge during the internship for your MCQ solving.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, thank you, Namita. Namita, I'll add one more thing. General medicine and general surgery are difficult subjects for us because we are doing dentistry, especially the practical part of it, because usually, at least our college, did not really give us the attention that we probably deserved or didn't deserve, whatever you want to call it. But I feel like if you really give that time to understand these two subjects, because they do have important weightage even when you come for your NEET exam. So don't just focus on oral pathology, understand general medicine, general surgery. It will not only help you for NEET, but it will also help you for your final year, because, the same concepts will come somewhere else in final year.
And it's actually very exciting to learn if you pay attention and
If you
spend
pay
some time on
attention.
it. Yeah.
Correct. Correct. Like, no, if you're not that last minute person and you really get the subject right, I think these two subjects are quite interesting. Okay. Siddhi is asking, ma'am, which classes have you joined? I mean, she joined at that point. And what is more helpful, online or offline? Okay, good question.
Me, for the
Yeah,
drop
yeah,
here,
yeah.
I had joined series. I had joined offline classes, but then I attended it like an online course because I did not go for the on-site lectures. I did from the app itself. So anything is fine, to be honest. You don't really have to, go offline and study. I don't think it makes much of a difference. It didn't for me. Online course is good enough. Like you will be in your comfortable environment. You will get all the other, for example, food. You will get good source of food if you're at home. And you just have to focus. The online thing is you don't really see other people studying with you. Offline, you see libraries everywhere. You see there are people studying. That is the difference. If you're somebody who gets motivated by other people studying, then you can try out offline. But if you, on the other hand, if you get stressed by people studying 24/7, then do it online, do it by yourself.
Actually, this was a big debate when she was shifting to Davangere. I mean, we had studied together and we were in Mangalore, and she was taking this bold decision to go there. And and whenever we used to call her, it used to be like, okay, the food is like this, or you are struggling with your like stay. You have to do your stuff on your own. But I think the reason Eshu really shifted was because she wanted to take that step and be in an environment where everybody is studying, because that really drives her as a person.
At home, I don't know if I'd be able to give my fullest with all the distractions going on.
Yeah, yeah. It's just that, when everybody is around you is in the same boat, you tend to sort of follow them. And 1 year is a long game, right? It's not a day or a month or even 2, 3 months, right? If you have to be consistent for a long period, you need to figure out what kind of a personality you are and try to put yourself in that environment. That sort of helps.
That 1 year will have a lot of things going on for you. It will really test everything that you have. Because now, when I was in that 1 year period, it seemed very long. But before this webinar, when I was trying to, divide the months accordingly, I was like, okay, how many months should I give? I was like, this is very less time. How would somebody be able to do 20 subjects, finish it up in 4 months, revise in the 3 months, then do two revisions in 2 months? That sounds, quite impossible. But then with time, you'll get the groove of it.
Yeah, it takes time, but it'll happen. Okay. Pooja is asking, how many attempts is enough to get a government seat? I have attempted the exam twice, but was doing job for the first 6 months. Now thinking I'll give one full year attempt at age 27.
I mean, I don't think there's a specific rule that says, you have to take these many attempts to get the college. Since you've already attempted twice, you know how it goes, you know about your preparation, where you were lacking, and you strategize accordingly. Even in this 1 year, don't try to do a lot of new things because there's so much of information that's never getting over. So you restrict the amount of information that you're learning, do that properly, and work on the other aspects. Like if you feel like the problem was that you were getting stressed during the exam, then you work on it. If you feel like the time management is a problem, then you give many more mock exams than you did before. You work on the other aspects also because there might be a reason why you didn't get it the first 2 times. So you try to analyze that retrospect and then figure out accordingly.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, Pooja, if you have any follow-up questions, I'd be happy to take it up. But till then, I'll ask for the next question. How did you sort of stay motivated through your drop year? Yes, one was finances, but were there any other things that drove you to, be consistent and be?
Hmm. It was, I think, because it was my decision. Like my parents didn't want me to take a drop year. They were like, you just have to do MDS. Why do you have to take a 1 year drop? It's fine. You're wasting your age and all of that. Since I took the whole responsibility of the decision on me, I was like, no, if I work this year, I would definitely get a good rank, was my, point of argument. So then if I let it go in between, then that's like the complete blame is on me, which I didn't want to take. Like my parents would definitely not tell me I told you so. But then the thought, like, I gave the promise and I need to, I need to get it. And at the end, even if my rank was bad, I didn't want to regret it. Like, you're working for a particular thing. And at the end of the exam, you should feel whatever rank you get, you should feel like, okay, I did my best. This is what I got. Like there is no fault in me. I did not waste my time or get distracted with something else. So I was like, I will do my best. I will not worry about the rank, sort of.
Yeah, that was the approach. Yeah, don't like obsess about the rank
Mm.
right now. Maybe the last 2, 3 months, you will know what your preparation is, how much hard work you have put. At that point, you can stress about it. But right now, I don't think it's time to stress about a rank or a hypothetical situation. That's not really going to help anybody. Okay. Sneha is asking, ma'am, apart from Red Book and CDs, which we should get Neeraj Vadwan separately.
I did not do the red book. I got the red book. I purchased the red book, but then to me, it felt a little hi-fi, and the explanations were not adequate for me to make sense of the answers. And there were so many questions to just read and remember. Like, obviously, I wouldn't say you need to understand each and every MCQ. Some MCQs just read, you try to remember the answer as such, like for a short-term thing. But I think when I refer to the Red Book, there were too many questions which I had to just remember. So I think if they were better, if I don't know, I heard that the app has improved a lot now, much more than before. So if there are good explanations, then Redbook is enough because they give you previous year papers. But if not,
Mm.
you can try out Neeraj Wadhwan. You don't have to buy it immediately. You can borrow it from somewhere or check in libraries or like try to download it from Telegram if possible, and you can check. And even Palak, you are also in previous year papers, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So you first start
Right
from
now,
there, you refer, and then if you want more explanation, then you can buy Neeraj Wadhwan.
yeah. Right now we have discussions of previous year papers. We are trying to get them like every Sunday. Let's see if that
Hmm.
works out. Next, how important were mock tests in your preparation, and when did you start giving them, and how many did you give before your final exam?
The number I don't remember exactly, but I think the mock test began proper, full mock, like all subjects. Before that, we used to have like 2 or 3 subjects at a time for 2 hours, like a mock exam with restricted subjects. But I think for the last 2 months, we had almost 10 mock exams in CDs, in BDS Next app. Other than that, I used to give mock exam from Pulp MDS app also. 2 or 3 exams I've given from there. So that mock exam is important for two things. One is to see your approach of answering the question, like, where do you start from? How many are you able to attend? And second one is time management. So in the BDS next, we get only 2 hours for attempting the question. And that time it used to be like, very less used to be like, this is not enough to attempt 240 questions. But then you should try to finish it within 2 hours because only if you do that, then in the main exam, you'll be able to finish the entire round in 2 hours and then have 1 hour to revise. So you should definitely give mock exam. It will be a quick revision of all your subjects because towards the end, you are not just sitting and focusing on a particular subject, right? You have to do everything together. So while doing the mock exam, you get to know which is your weak subject, where are you, what are you not able to remember, all those things you basically analyze in the first 4 or 5 mock exam. You analyze yourself, see what is happening, and then you try to improve from that. And during the mock exam, you don't have to obsess over your rank or mark. What you have to check is how many answers you're getting right. Like, sometimes you make guessworks, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you make silly mistakes. Those are the things that you need to focus on. Whatever you know, you should attempt right. And if you're able to guess and work around an answer, you see how well it is working for you. For me, guessworks really worked. Like I could move around the question and then like somehow I used to like get the right answer, even if the concepts were like, not very built up for me in certain aspects. So that helped me during the exam for attempting 227 questions when it was super hypothetical. It's like I'll just be confident with the answers. So you see, it doesn't have to work for everybody. Just check.
Got it. Got it. Siddharth is asking, is it the same or do we need extra preparation for the AIMS exam? She didn't
Oh,
give
when
AIMS, right?
I did give NSET, only with the first one. The second one I didn't give, but I don't think I'll be
First
able
time.
to answer it properly because during my like 2 years ago, the aims was just repeat questions. So all we had to do was previous year NSET papers. That's all we had to do, and most of the questions were repeated. But from the next set, from the April, May, I think May NSET exam, it was not the same. So I didn't prepare for the next NSET.
Yeah. But I'll answer this because last Sunday only, I had taken an interview with one more friend, Arpita, who got All India rank 6 in INI. So that interview is there on YouTube, but the summary of that is that she prepared the same things for NEET as well as for INI. However, yes, she focused a lot more on concepts. She focused a lot more on previous year INI questions, but there is enough time in between your NEET and your INI for you to like cover up on that segment. So if you are somebody who's looking at INI, yes, the I wouldn't say that if you want to get a rank because there are hardly any seats, right, for AIMS. So if you want to get, so here you can get a good college with even ranks from 0 to 200. But that might not be the same for INI. So if you are looking for that level of preparation, I think you should go back to that interview because she answers a lot of questions related to INI. Sneha is asking, ma'am, apart from CDs, do you have any other test series that you will suggest?
I attempted the Pulp MDS apps test series mock exams. They had good
Got
questions. I think they had overlapping questions from Pulse also, similar to BS6, but they also had other conceptual questions which will get you thinking.
okay. Sneha Narayan is asking, is Dental Pulse really enough for the need? Guys, I think we should stop focusing a lot on resources and start focusing on ourselves because, there will be enough resources. There are tens and thousands of resources. But I feel like, you will always think that you're doing less. But I feel revising what you have done is much more important than opening 10 other books and trying to figure out what you have missed. I think, Eshu, you'll agree.
Yeah, definitely. Because honestly, all I did was Pulse. And the extra efforts that I put were from the other app questions that I used to refer to. And mainly the extra effort comes from the amount of time you're spending. And it shouldn't be amount of time doesn't mean you just sit in front of the book. Amount of time
Yeah,
means the amount of time you're actually studying and
studying.
trying to understand. Yeah. So
Mhm.
dental pulse is a lot actually. That is really enough because every time you reread dental pulse, you find some new information. There is ample amount of information there. But if you want, you can refer other apps. I wouldn't say go for many other books or anything. You can refer to Palak's mind maps, the MCQs put in there. You can refer. There are several other apps that you can refer also.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, what the entire gist of it is that, there is this 80-20 rule, right? Where uh, there is that 20% of the syllabus that you might miss, but that's okay. You should focus on that 80% because that's actually going to give you sorry, I said the opposite thing. There is a 20% of the syllabus which gives you 80% of the results, right? You should know what that 20% of the
Yeah.
syllabus is. Keep revising because there's a very high chance you'll make errors there only. So even if you are looking at other 80 things, it won't exactly matter if you've not mastered your 20%. So considering a lot of students here are, from the NEET segment, uh, preparing with internship, I would say don't focus on thousand resources, focus on small things, but do it consistently so that firstly you will build your own confidence if you're able to do it consistently and solve questions. At the same time, you will not feel overwhelmed.
Yeah. Do
Okay.
less, but do it well. Like, don't have FOMO. You will have FOMO till the end of the exam preparation, but try
Yeah,
to avoid it.
correct. Another question, ma'am, is it possible that you can manage studying by joining a clinic for locum plus another attempt for NEET? Is it fair or should I just focus on studying?
The first 2 or 3 months, you can go to the clinic if you're able to manage. You should give proper time in the beginning. That's what you should be able to give at least 6 to 7 hours for study. If you're able to do that, then you can join the clinic. But I think towards the end, it's better if you put your full focus on study. Like, around I think 10 to 11 hours, you should study consistently. So in the last 6, 7 months, just focus on studying. In the beginning, you can still, try to juggle with two things.
Yeah, my advice would also be the similar thing because I've spoken to so many students. I feel like if you see, for example, even for Arpita, this is what happened. She joined a clinic. She gave NEET, she gave AIMS, whatever, whatever. But in the context of giving so much, um, she lost confidence that, okay, can I do it? Because I'm not able to succeed because she was focusing on too many things at once. So, an exam like this, if you really want to get a government college, I would say focus because that's a very difficult thing to do. It's very easy to get distracted, go to a clinic, go to a party, XYZ things, but to actually sit and do what Aishu did, it's a very difficult thing. Okay. Yes, Sneha, I have answered your question also. Now let's go back to now that you retrospect your entire journey, what was that biggest misconception that you had about this exam?
That's a good question. I think I need a minute to retrospect. Biggest misconception is that, okay, so everybody before I joined, they said this will be very difficult. Like, you know, what people told me was this one book wasn't enough. That was one more thing. Like in the beginning, there were recommended books for each and every subject. When you pick any subject, there is an MCQ book for it. And in the beginning, it was like you need to refer all of them. And one more misconception was that you would be able to succeed only if you make notes. Like, making notes is like the biggest aspect when you're taking a drop year. But honestly, I did not make so many notes. Like I just used to write down extra points in the synopsis itself and certain, things that you keep on forgetting. Basic stuff. Like I used to forget the Ellis fracture classification. So I used to like make a small chit of it and then put it on the wall. But when you look at people who have succeeded or like a lot of videos, they always talk about how they decorated their room with so much of concepts. That's what I thought I should be doing, because in the beginning I honestly thought, okay, maybe I'm not doing enough because my room is not filled with sticky notes talking about cycles and like whatnot. But that is not true. All of you will have your own strategy. Like some of you don't really have to make so many notes, and you might not get time to go back to the notes itself. So those are the two biggest misconceptions for me, which I didn't follow, but it worked out fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'd add here because I know her personally. So she's that person who would like really keep it simple. No fancy pens or, like
Yeah.
extraordinary, I would say. It wouldn't be a lot more about showing that I'm studying. It would just be about waking up at five,
Mm.
for example. Just
If you
doing
want
it,
to
not.
highlight with colored pens in your note, just do it in your pulse. You just highlight it in your pulse. And then you
Yeah.
go back to it. Obviously, for revising, you can have different sources, but it should be like a concise. When you think about a subject, you should know, okay, these are the two, three places that I have to study from. I need to finish my 10 pages of notes. For example, I need to do your mind maps. I need to refer your app questions. And then I need to do the pulse. This should be the four things that come strategically in your mind. It shouldn't be like, okay, this subject, I have to do this book, that book, oh, I have contents written there, contents written here. It shouldn't be a mess. You should always keep it straightforward.
It shouldn't be a mess, yeah. And one more thing that I'd say, especially about her, is that um everybody starts having FOMO, right? Like, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. I think the reason that she was able to stay on track was because she did not look left or right. She just said, I'll do what I wish to do, rather than seeing what somebody else did, then feeling that,
Mm.
oh my God, now I can't do it, or how can I do it? That feeling she never got. So uh, and then her results proved it, right? Because if somebody can do it without putting the face of, you know, like, I am
Yeah.
studying so hard, it also goes to say that it's a exam which is difficult, but it's testing you more for your patience and consistency than for your long hours of studying or studying from 10 books. Or it's a simple thing if you look at it in a simple way. We don't have to complicate an exam so much and make everything about that one exam, right?
Yeah, FOMO was something I used to have, but then, it used to hit me for like 2, 3 hours, and I used to be like, no, I'm just
Yeah.
wasting time. And one more misconception was, I think people had told me from the beginning, like, from the initial test itself, your rank has to be good. And initially, I used to obsess over the rank. But then later, I realized these tests are just a way for you to learn from, right? It's not already assessing you. The only test that is going to assess you is your final NEET exam. Not the exams, not even the last exam, last mock exam matters. It's just, if you don't know something, if you missed out something, or if you forgot something in the exam, you don't have to feel bad about it. You can just, it's also a form of revision. So rank is not something to obsess on, especially in the mock exam. And it's like I always assume that if my rank used to come in like 200s or 250 in my mock exam, I assumed it would be much behind in the final exam. Like, I thought it would be 300, but that is not the case. My rank used to be around 120, 130 in the mock exam. It came like a much earlier rank in the. So, I mean, that was one more thing that I realized during the exam.
Yeah, important. One more thing that Arpita said last Sunday was she did not focus on that number of that rank. Rather, she focused on what she learned from that exam. Like,
Mm.
there's a lot that you learn about yourself. Am I making errors if the question, like, am I making an error where I chose that was the right option and then I chose this one? So how was my brain thinking during an exam? Was I calm and composed? Was I able to solve were there questions which I absolutely did not know, which means I have to go back to my books and study. So take a mock test more to analyze yourself, know more about yourself
Yeah.
and your preparation rather than comparing yourself with somebody else because that's not going to take you anywhere.
And there's this overthinking that you need to avoid because sometimes there is a question, there is an answer which is straightforward. Like when you read the question, you know, okay, this is the answer. But then when you're about to mark it, you're like, wait, it seems too easy. Maybe I will think more. And then you end up putting the wrong answers. Those kind of things you should be very cautious about.
Correct. Absolutely. Okay. So there might be subjects that are more memory intensive and subjects that are more concept intensive.
Yeah. Mm.
If you could like help classify and what was your strategy for these kind of subjects?
So, okay. On memory based, like, just rectify based was DA, DH also. Then there was the, DM, dental materials as such was memory based. Then there was, I think, other stuff is still.
Dental materials, guys, do not depend on any other resource. What we have done with Dr. Riddhi is beautiful. There is one dental materials book that is a mind map book which covers everything. And then there are two webinars which are 3 hours and 3 hours each. So that is about 6 hours of content. If you do this much, which will take you approximately 10 to 12 days to do, if you do it well, you will not have to open any other resource. You will be able to solve all the questions. So if you take 15 days for dental materials, spend 10 to 12 days on the material that we provide, and then put 3 days for solving questions. I think you can solve dental materials. If you want more information about it, message me. But dental materials was one subject that even in the last webinar, everybody came up and said that, it's scattered, it's all over the place. And at that point, we had helped the NEET 2025 batch by giving mind maps for dental materials. And everybody's review was that DM was super helpful, especially because we did the webinar before that. So that combination really helped them fast in their prep. Yeah, so
Mm.
that is a memory based subject.
Then there is PhD, which is also memory based, but
Okay.
it's better than DM, also memory based. So then concept based, where most of the in the medicine subjects, biochem, microbio, they are also memory based. Pharmac, maybe. How can you forget Pharmac? Pharmac is memory based. But you've already informed about the Pharmac
Yeah.
concepts that you are giving out. So that should be helpful. Concept
But
based
do
for
it
all
every
these
day.
subjects. Yeah, definitely. Concept based for all this medicine, physio, surgery, and there is oral path, oral surgery. Ortho is half-half. Like it's concept based, but also memory based, like certain appliances, their names, the year, all that you have to just remember. That and prosto is concept based. Consendo is also half-half because when you talk about the files, rotary instruments, and everything in endo, there's not much you can understand and remember. You just have to remember the names as such. I think it's all.
Yeah.
And to like really remember the memory based stuff, you just have to keep doing it again and again. I remember doing certain what is it called, modules in ortho again and again, but still not be able to remember it because they were all memory based. You have to see it at least 4 5 times a particular question so that you get right the sixth time. Just don't give up in these memory based things. You will get it at some point.
You will get it right. Yeah. So because we are talking so much about memory, I will just be sharing my own journey with MediStudy, go through a presentation, why I started, what do we have, and if you guys have any questions related to that. So this was me in college, just scrolling Instagram reels, literally just being somebody who is online all the time. And if this is a classroom, I am not even visible here because I am sleeping on the back bench. So that's usually the personality that I was. But there was a lot of endless information which you would find overwhelming, which because of the number of hours of lectures and the study sessions in the library felt really overwhelming. Um, I had friends who were always supportive. Aishwarya is one of them. Arpita is one of them. Um, and these were like my thoughts. Like, I've studied so much, but my mind feels empty. I know the chapter, the section, the page number, the paragraph, but I still can't figure out what the answer is. Or I just revised it so many times, but I can't really remember or recall it. Which is when we put all of these things together, especially because I faced it as a problem. We try to find solutions to it because there's so much information that's like one of the slides of um, prosthodontics, but you need to actually connect it with multiple subjects, right? You can't just rely on one piece of paper. You have to like connect it to multiple subjects and to remember and recall so much of that information. So I was somebody who would go up there on YouTube, really get to the concepts, spend a lot of time understanding the concepts more than the marks. It was always about how much I really understood it and how much can I apply it on the patient. Although your NEET exam is not like that. That's when MediStudy came into my life. I started this when I was in college to make education fun. Didn't want it to be boring as the same classroom or the same coaching class. Um, so we created in the last 3 years, we have finally created all the subjects, over 10,000 mind maps, over 250 animated videos, which are crazy good. If you don't trust me, try it and you will know because I've spent my entire life only doing this. So there are complimentary videos also on the app. Let me explain to you what a mind map is. Say, for example, you're studying a subject like medicine. You can actually literally like study that topic in 2 pages. But can you see these red colored pins? These are the questions where NEET questions are framed from. It's not exactly a NEET question, but these are areas you need to know. So, for example, there is something that's talk about ALT and AST. That means that is one area that is questioned in your NEET exam. You need to know about this to be able to answer that question. Like, even if it is not an option in the exam, but you need to know about this because that is the application of it when a question comes to you. So, we have gone to that much of depth to be able to put it into pictures here, and we have over 20 illustrators in our team who have created visual illustrations because I personally believe that if I see a photo, I can remember it. So that's what we applied, and we put a lot of images that were created in house. Very proud of it. So a mind map will help you prioritize. Like, there's so much to study for your NEET exam. Then you just have to know that, okay, I just have to look at these red colored pins and I would be sorted. So it'll save you from that information overload and other problems. The other thing is we highlight these key areas. So, for example, now if you look at, say, this is microbiology, or there is this is cons. So you'll see that every format is so different that your brain will start remembering these formats, and you'll find it much easier to recall it when the question comes. And then we have these little things. So, for example, microbiology, I'll speak a little bit on that. It is actually created by one of the toppers of NEET MBBS, okay, who has actually put in things that are important for the MBBS exam also from the NEET perspective, because those are the same kind of questions that will actually come even in the MDS exam. So, these are some snippets that are from the microbiology book also. This is color coding all the important topics and making it flow charts because that's how your brain remembers it. Yeah, these are the red pins that I'm talking about. Like, it'll tell you, okay, if you have to remember the etiology of hepatitis virus, you need to like remember it together. If you remember it together like this, it's just going to be much more easier for you to recall it. So those small tips are given by us. It helps you compartmentalize. So, for example, there is like this much information that you want to study. It'll help you ask, like, what is it? What are the causes? What are the, like, how is it caused? So, what is like, the clinical features? What are the tests and medicines? XYZ things taken from like really good standard textbooks and curated by subject matter experts with a lot of experience. So, like what you could cover in 5, 6 pages in a normal textbook is just covered in 2 pages here, so that you get a bird's eye view. So you're not really just mugging up, but at the same time, you can finish it in a smaller period of time. Okay. So it's going to give you a good structure. Our NAT mind maps are super good. Our NAT videos are too good. You can just rely on this and solve every question in your NEET exam. I am not saying it. People have done it. Yeah. And it also helps for self-assessments because you will see that you can just cover like little areas of it so that you can actually test yourself. And there are some worksheets or yeah, these are like this is how you read a mind map. You need to go clockwise. So you start from yellow, blue, red, now purple, green, and then pink. That's how you will get it. For everybody who's here today, we have a special discount. Whatever was at XYZ price, we've like reduced it for the people who are here so that you can try it. You can actually feel the product and get a real, test of the work that we've done. So this is like every subject is priced at 1,500 on our website. Just for the people who have attended the webinar today, because I personally feel you should try it. Um, Everything is cut down. So 1,000, and general anatomy, which is also important because this year we had questions from GA. So we added that for at 500, the entire bundle at 4,000. Similarly, this is for second year, this is for third year, this is for final year. These are all the books that we have, like the printed books. You might have seen it on Instagram. And if you want all of these, then that's at 11,800, but only for the people who have attended the webinar today. So yeah, this is a little bit about what we have done till now. And what we are looking to do is to create NEET flashcards. So those will be specifically like, you can flip it, you can actually just have visuals over it. So we are really working on that. And in the next 2-3 months, we'll be launching it. So yeah, this is a little bit about MediStudy Go. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm just a call away. Okay, I'm going to end this thing by actually asking Eshu about something very important. Say for example, you are starting now. Okay, like let's take an example that you have to restart your NEET preparation. Then what would you change considering in the preparation strategy, considering now that you have learned so much from your own experience?
I would change the amount of time I spend on particular subjects. Like in the beginning, I did not know, I did not realize how much time was left and how I was using it. So I had spent almost one month on pedo, 1 month on ortho. Like there was a lot of waste of time for me, and I didn't get enough time in the end for medicine subjects. I had to do all of the medicine subjects within like 1.5 or something month span, which was not enough for me. I did not get to revise the medicine subjects enough. So if I have to redo it again, I would properly divide. And like I told you, the combination of the subjects, I would follow that combination so that it would get a little bit easier for me. And in the beginning, I had also wasted time on different sources,
Hmm.
different set of things that I would restrict. I would stick to the things that I told, like just, minimum notes and pulse and certain concepts. That's all. That is what I
Yeah,
would do
less is
differently.
more, I think. Less is more, guys.
Definitely.
Um, okay, thank you so much. Sneha, I'll answer your question. You're planning to add flashcards. Yeah, so if you are somebody, so the entire app is going to update. So if you have already bought it, or if you're in the process of buying it, or if you buy it before the flashcards are released, then it will just be added to your subscription. We are going to revise the prices once the flashcards are added. So, but it will not affect anybody who has already bought it. You will just get it in your entire package, all the NEET flashcards that we are adding. So you don't have to worry that if I buy it right now, will I get it or not get it? You will get it. Whenever it's there, you will get it. Yeah, and ma'am, if app is going to update, when we can take subscription of it? You can take the subscription now itself. Even if the app updates, your subscription will stay. The subscription is not going anywhere. So if you're starting your preparation now, we don't want to waste your uh, time. So the subscription will update, but you don't have to do anything. It will be taken care by us. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, the group is always open. What we are going to do on the NEET MDS group, on the NEET MDS 2026 group, is to put a lot of questions every day so that you are, even if you are Dr. Aishwarya, can you please suggest ideal days plan for starting preparation? I think everybody is asking for that. Yeah.
Ideal days plan, like how I would plan my day.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, I used to start early in the morning, around like 5:30 or something. And I used to, in the beginning, I used to give 1.5 hours for pharmac. Then it decreased to 45 minutes. So then you do pharmac, then you probably like, take a break, have a breakfast or something. Then you do for example, let's take OP for me. I used to do OP in the morning, in the beginning. OP in the morning. I used to take spend like good 4 or 5 hours. Till lunch, I used to do one particular subject where I used to any of that, either refer to my notes, synopsis, and do solve the questions. Or if I've already read the synopsis, then directly go solving the questions. That was my first half of the day. Then after lunch, I used to take a lighter subject. If I'm doing OP, then I would club it with radio or some other subject that doesn't require a lot of input from my side, let's say DA or DH or something of that sort. I used to do in the afternoon. Again, similarly, read and solve questions. Then again you take a short break. Then in the evening I saw, because by towards the evening you're kind of drained, like you're almost like towards the end of the day. So I used to solve questions. Either I used to solve that days whatever I've studied in OP and DA, I used to solve those questions from the app. You have those topic wise questions. Either you solve that, or if there is a test series that is happening, then I give the test. Then at night, like after dinner or something, I take my time to go through the questions, go through the mock papers or test series that I've given. Because giving exams is not the only important thing. What is more important than giving the exam is actually going back to refer to it so that you don't remember the wrong answers. You need to check if your approach was right. So at night, I used to do that. Or if I'm very drained at night, I used to refer picture based questions from Pulse itself or from apps. All these picture based questions I used to revise. This was my ideal day planning. And when it comes to Sunday, there used to be exams. I used to give the exams, go through the. Sunday was not for like, studying theory for me. Sunday was mostly just revising and solving more questions. Basically, that entire week's thing I used to try and revise in that Sunday. And when I study the questions, I used to mark, like, make some round marks or colored marks in particular questions that I feel like I'm forgetting or I would definitely forget. So on a Sunday, I used to go back to those questions. This was my planning on an average.
Yeah, that was really helpful, Ashu. She's also asking, ma'am, how much days distribution should do for all 19 subjects in first prep and also in revision manner.
So it honestly depends on how well you're able to do the subjects in like a shorter time. If it, let's say for OP, I put 15 days. Then for ortho, I would put 4 to 5. This is the first studying I'm talking about. Ortho, I would put 4 to 5 days. Pedo, I would give just 4 days, not more than that. Then cons, DM, let's take 8 to 9 days. And what other subjects are there? Oral surgery also 4 to 5 days, because not all the topics are important from there, right? I told you look at everything in the same manner, but certain topics take more time. For example, if you take oral surgery, the LA section might take you more time, or the trauma section might take you more time, and the other things might be easier for you. So it's really based on how well actually you've studied. Let's say in your final year, certain subjects you've done well, certain subjects you're able to relate. So just don't waste more than a week on a particular subject. Keep it within 4 to 5 days, except for bigger subjects like OP, you can take like 10 to 15 days.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much. That was really helpful. If anybody has more questions, we'll take them. Or if not, then we will have more such sessions. Like we did this one in Jan, right, Ashu? That was 2 or 3 months before the
Two
NEET
months
2025
before NEET,
exam.
yeah.
And we actually strategized how to go about the 60 days because those 60 days are very
Yeah.
important. Like, you get lost, what to
Yeah.
do. So at that time,
Yeah.
we had discussed those things.
And
So,
we had
as
actually
time
talked
progressed,
about particular days division, like these many days
yeah,
for this subject, 2 days for this, 1 day for this. Yeah.
yeah, it was literally to the, like there were subjects that just had half day at that point. So I'm trying to say that, you'll have to like have such beautiful um, ways to remember that you can actually revise it in half a day. That is the effort you're putting in right now. I have a friend who actually says that I'm only studying so that in the last 60 days, I'm able to revise the subject in half a day. And at that point, only when he's studying, he actually thinks, what will I do when I have to revise the subject in half a day? That's the thought
Yeah.
process when you're studying right now. Ki,
That's how
okay,
we
today I
make
might have.
notes.
Yeah. So today you might be able to, say, for example, study it for 15 days. But if that same subject you have to study in 2 days, then you can't say, okay, because I studied in 15 days, at that point I remember it. That's the challenge, right? So yeah, you
But
you
you
should
don't
think
have to be
about it.
scared. Right now, it feels like, okay, I'm taking 4 months to do the 20 subjects. And at the end, you will have like literally 15 days to do that entire subject. But it is possible. It's so unbelievable, but it is possible to finish the content in 15 days, even if you have to.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, definitely. That's how you think about it, and you plan it from now on, so it saves you time later. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. I really hope it was a true conversation that helped you. There was no polishing through the conversation. And if you guys have any doubts, we are always there to help. Thank you so much, Aishwarya. Means a lot. I
Thank
can't call
you
her
for calling
Aishwarya.
me.
Aishu. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us your Sunday. Oh, should I have one last question? How is your PG going? How do you feel about it now that you're doing your post graduation?
Oh, it is amazing. It is obviously hectic because there's too many things going on. And at this point, when you're dealing with, in your UG, even in internship, it was not like full on dealing with patients. You feel like
Mm,
a still a student. But in the PG
mm,
level, you feel like a doctor. You feel like you should have the answers. You should be able to talk to the patients, convince them for the treatment, and then do it in a PG level because we can actually hear staff saying this is UG level work. You should do PG level work. So there is a proper distinction, but it's fun because it's entirely on you from the moment the patient enters your department till the time they leave. I have taken prosto, so it's very fulfilling. Like they enter with no teeth or almost like deranged teeth, and it's like they don't have the best smile they can. But when they leave, when they get that, you feel so fulfilled. So it's nice, even though it's hectic, it's very fruitful. So
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's I think the most important thing since we are in this field. So yeah, and Eshu being Eshu, she just loves yeah, whatever she does,
I have
I think.
learned to love prosto. I have not liked prosto during my UG.
Same,
It's
same.
good.
Both of us didn't, but over time. So you again at this point, if you are somebody who is preparing for next year, don't overthink on your branch, your college, your rank, because that's just a waste of time. You will have enough time after the exam, enough nahi, more than enough time after the exam
Yeah.
to do everything else. So even this is a distraction, okay? Like when you're studying, people will be like, which college do you want? Which seat do you want? But guys, that's not going to help because you need to get a rank to get that. Right? So yeah. Siddhi is asking which college are you doing your PG in?
GDC Trivandrum.
Yeah, in Boston. I think she was very clear about the branch. So um and the fact that she wanted to stay close to home. So
Yeah, that was.
yeah, any other questions for her, we'd be happy to take and then shut this call.
Any more doubts you can approach through Palak whenever,
Yeah.
however
Yeah, in
possible.
case you have a doubt, this is the number, okay? This is the number where I will be available. Yeah, there are two numbers of Study Go. This one is where I usually take the responses. The other one is where the team does. So if you are, um, you know, looking to ask specific questions, I'll connect with Eshu. Yeah, Siddhi is congratulating you, Aishwarya.
Thank you. Why am I not able to see that on chat?
Because Siddhi, you're sending a direct message to me. So I can see it, but you're not sending it to her. Okay, I will congratulate her.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yes. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in, and I really hope it. Bye bye.